Grant, I think you went to watch Oxford on Tuesday night. What did you make of them?
They're a good team. They're strong. They started the game really well against Sheffield United. They've got good energy. They get after people. They press the ball really well. But I think, as Billy Sharp does in this league, he had one chance. He scores a lot of goals off corners. If you've noticed, he got one chance in the box off a corner and scored, and Sheffield United got a foothold in the game then. But it's going to be a tough game. I've watched them twice now. I watched them at Luton. I watched them on Saturday. And they're a good team, but we just need to make sure we focus on ourselves.
Yeah, they are a side who, understandably took a few weeks to adapt to League One, but they've come on strong, haven't they, second half of the campaign? Yeah,
they have. It's they've done really, really well considering they've just come up last year in the position they're in at the minute. And they've got their games in hands as well, but we've got to make sure we focus on ourselves. This week we've been focusing a lot on us and our identity and trying to get that back for the next 10 games, because it's important that we get back to that. Have we gone away from it? Possibly. But regardless of what system of players shape, the philosophy of this football club is the same. We still want to play, we still want to move the ball, we still want to create chances and score goals, but we've gone back to the way we know it works. It's gonna. I think it's a good shape for us. It suits us. We've got the players who like to play in it, and we'll see if that can help us and try and get a more settled team on the pitch now for the remainder of the games. It's been difficult with injuries and suspensions and loss of form, but it's important that we stick to our beliefs now to the end of the season and see where it takes us. Yeah,
was it a bit of a bonding session this week?
Not bonding. It was more of a physical. Really, it was there was no balls involved on Tuesday. Really, it was more of a teamwork. People, but sticking with each other in the group and dragging each other around the pitch, and the boys really enjoyed it. It was good. It was a good day on Tuesday. Coming after Tuesday and felt really good, positive. The boys were in real good spirits, as they were today in training. Really, really bubbly. But as we know, it's only training. I don't read too much into the training. I want to see them produce that in the weekend.
Yeah, because you talked after Saturday about players playing as individuals rather than as a team collective, and that's obviously something you've been looking to address this week. Has that been the focus?
100%. It's getting back to that, that togetherness, that group, the group mentality, not single-minded mentality. We've possibly had that since Christmas time, January onwards, where people were worried about their own selves and not the team. So it's important that the team always comes first. The football club comes first, and that was the whole motto this week. And hopefully we can bring that to the game on Saturday and get a positive result.
Have you been able to establish why that was, that people started looking inwardly and at their own careers and what they were doing rather than the team collective? Was it January, the transfer window? Have you been able to pin down exactly why that happened?
No, it's hard. You speak to players on an individual level and they're always saying, I do care about the football club and I want to stay here. The boys do care about the club, but it's important that they put anything that's in their head, speculation, things like that happened in January, to one side. It happens at every football club. It's not just Peterborough, and were they thinking of it? I don't know. But we just got to make sure we focus on what's in front of us now. We've got 10 games. That we can't affect what happened January, February. We got to make sure we get as many points out of these 4 games now in this month as we can, and see where we are after, because it's a big 10 games for us. The lads have set themselves their own target now for these 4 games. We've done it before once this season and they missed the target by 1 point. But I'm hoping they can produce the target they've set themselves now.
Do you think that what you were just talking about maybe being affected by speculation and all the rest of it, is that a byproduct of having a young group, some players who've never been through that before and perhaps aren't sure how to deal with that, I guess?
We have got some young players, but we've got enough experience in the changing room to keep people on a level keel, really. And that I think we've got, if you look at the changing room, Anthony Grant, Michael Bostwick, MackailSmith, Paul Taylor, Craig MackailSmith, Brad Inman's 25. There's not a young changing room anymore. No one's hiding behind the fact that it's a young changing room. We just got to make sure we stay together now. That's it. You know, like I said to you at the weekend, I think we've been written off from January onwards by everybody. Has that affected people? You know, I don't know. Has, you know, the constant writing you off affected the group? I don't know, but it's important everyone just blanks that and concentrates on the football now, because the only way you solve rough patches and bad patches that you're going through, albeit we just played two of probably the best teams in League One over the last couple of games, and we've ran them close. We probably didn't deserve to get beaten both games. So the only way to do it, to solve it, is to win football matches and to play the right way. So that's been the main focus this week.
Is it almost an us against the world sort of mentality that you're looking for? You say people have written you off now and expect you to get into that top six now. Can you turn that around and use that as a force to sort of bond you, I suppose?
Well, first and foremost, we've got to use it to our advantage for the game on Saturday against Oxford. You know, at Millwall, they've got that siege mentality that, you know, their manager was telling me, Neil Harris, that everybody hates Millwall and they hate us and blah blah blah, and he says that it just brings our group together, and that's something I'm trying to create at this club, in terms of a siege mentality, that whatever anyone writes about you or says about you, forget about it, because that's the industry you're in. Everyone's got an opinion on you. You've got to be big enough to take it. If you're not, you fall by the wayside. So the mentality I'm trying to get into the players is that, and once we start winning games again, hopefully we can, you know, people can start changing their opinion again on us, and you know, no one's hiding away from the fact that we haven't produced what we're capable of, that we did right up until Christmas. It's the same group, nearly enough the same group that got us in the top six. Now it's about everyone coming together, and I include myself, my staff, and the players coming together now, as we have been, and starting to produce on the pitch now, because that is the most important thing.
I just wanted to ask you about Craig MacKail-Smith, who has lost none clearly of his work rate, his pace as well. Looks quick as he ever was. Hasn't got that 100th goal yet. Do you feel that's just around the corner? I mean, he almost set one up for Nichols, didn't he, at the weekend?
100% it'll come. I'm not confident. He'll score. I don't know when. Hopefully it's on Saturday. And I think when he scores, he could go on a run. He's come back, Craig. He's been top drawer. I was pleased that, you know, obviously he hasn't scored, but it's just his work rate, his experience he brings to the change room, his know-how, everything. He's been brilliant since he come in, and he's only his you know, experience and stuff like that's only going to rub off on Tom Nichols and Junior and people like that. So I'm hoping he'll get one on Saturday. He looks really confident this week in training. He's been hitting the net regularly in games and finishing, and so we're looking, you know, to try and get him off the mark and get him his 100th goal. He needs to put the back of his head, to be honest. That he just needs to concentrate on scoring goals, and how many goals he can get to the end of the season. I think that's his focus.
Him and Nichols have obviously started a bit of a partnership. They were impressive, weren't they, at Port Vale? And again, they had good moments at Bradford. You talked about sticking with a settled side. Is that something that you want to see now, that partnership really gluing together between MacKail-Smith and Nichols, and being a real force between now and the end of the season?
Yeah, listen, we want to try and keep a settled side as possible now to the end of the season, but that all bases on results, you know. We want to try and make sure that we have partnerships on the pitch, that people understand each other's roles, and you know, they understand their own role first and foremost. So a lot of the work we've done this week is in terms of people understanding their roles and responsibilities, and not just on the pitch, off the pitch as well. So it's that's, yeah, definitely. Them two were good at Port Vale together, linked up well. I think Craig set Tom up on Saturday for a good chance, and another day it goes in, gets you back in the game, and you don't know what's going to happen. So we want to try and create that all through the club, not just in the striking department.
And you've got Jack Baldwin coming back this weekend, back from suspension. Fully fit squad apart from the long termers.
We've got one or two struggling. Well, I'm not going to lie to you. There's one or two serious doubts over the game, but yeah, Jack's back, and it's good to have him back, because he's, you know, like I've said to you before, he's a great character. He was disappointed with the red card, the 2 yellows, and I've said it, but the first one, I think he slipped and got a yellow card, and the second one was a yellow card. So listen, no complaints about it. It happens in games, and them things sort of happen. You got to deal with it, but he's delighted to be back. He's been working hard since he hasn't played, and I'm sure he'll definitely come into contention at the weekend.
Those injuries that you mentioned, are they knocks and niggles or potentially more serious?
Just things that have been building up on a couple of players, really. You always pick up knocks after games, but just a couple of things that's been building up on one or two of them. So we've got to monitor them closely. If they make it at the weekend, great. If they don't, then it gives a chance for somebody else to come into the team.
And we were speaking to Harry Anderson this week, and he was saying how desperate he is to impress, to stay at the club beyond the summer. Really, his contract is up, and I suppose that applies for plenty of players at this time of year, doesn't it? Playing for futures.
Everybody's playing for futures now, whether you're in contract or out of contract. That is the be all and end all. It's everyone's auditioning now, 10-game audition. That's a fact. I said to the boys on Monday, I said, if you're sitting here thinking you're on a 2 or 3 year contract and you're safe, and then think again, because that's not how it works. You need to produce when you're at this football club. You need to be hungry enough to produce for the football club. You need to you want to be part of a team that's successful. So it's not just the players who are out of contract, it's the players who are in contract who are all competing for their futures, really. And it's been good this week because they've all bought into it. They understand it now, and I'm hoping that the togetherness that we've had this week can rub off on the next 10 games, and hopefully we can do that.